Hey everyone, welcome to the Bitcoin video today. It is June 29th, 2020. It is approximately 11:50 in the morning, and I'm here to do my obligatory Bitcoin update for today. Before I get into any of this, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. Okay, let's take a look at this. All right, so before I get into too much of this, I do want to point out just a couple things here. And what these are, it's pretty important for me to mention this. One, all these indicators that I use, I've had a lot of questions about them here recently. All the indicators that I use are all indicators that I've written. With the exception of the volume that I use. Let me just move into the chart here and just to kind of talk about this. So I've had a lot of questions about the indicator, a lot of questions on YouTube about the indicator. And this is an indicator that I've written that our insured members on the Discord have access to. You have access to this indicator, and also you have access to the algo, which is this little guy that kind of gives buy and sell signals. Okay. Now, the other thing that I do want to mention is if you guys have a chart or an asset that you want me to take a look at, I'd be more than happy to analyze an asset, take a look at a chart. I do this on Discord, right? So you need to be on our Discord in order to really get access to me and access to to any kind of analysis that I may do on a chart. So just to kind of put that out there as well, if you want to have me analyze something for you in real time, you just need to be on our Discord. In order to get on our Discord, of course, you just need to throw in a comment in the YouTube chat, and I will be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. All right, so that's enough of that. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and get into all of this. All the disclaimers out of the way, not financial advice. Let's take a look at Bitcoin and see what we're looking at on the short term here. Couple things that I wanted to look at from the top, which we had, we had this top way up here, right, where we were counting this as potentially, like a local top at the time. We've got our 5 up there, and then we're looking at, sort of completing this correction, and also realizing that on any other exchange, this did not happen, right? We did not have a big wick to the downside like this. That did not happen. Okay, that only happened on BitMEX. I believe most of the other exchanges stopped here at about 92 to 93, somewhere in this range. So I'm looking at this as an ABC, right? So I see this as 3 waves. And then I also see this as 3 waves. And then I see this as 1, 2, and then working on our last wave. So let me just clean this up because I know we've got a few things on this chart. I just want to take a look at the potential here as to what we're looking at. Okay, so from up here at the top, okay, let me move this, get rid of him. All right, so what we're looking at here, and I know this is going to look a little funny because of this long wick down here, but knowing that all the other exchanges stopped about right here. So looking at this as an A, and then we're looking at this as an A, B, C into the B, and then I believe we're going to be coming down here and finishing this, and I think we're going to be moving down a little bit farther. Okay, so we're looking at the completion of the C to actually go down and finish a larger wave 2. Okay, I think that we do have the completion of our first wave. Okay, if we're looking all the way back, let me go to like a 3-hour time frame. If we're going to go all the way back to the bottom down here, back in the middle of March, I think we've probably more or less completed an impulse. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're looking at this guy right here. We're looking at this potentially being finished up here. We did have a scenario where we could have seen a higher price. I think at this point that top is in. Let me fix this so that we don't have any conflicts. I think that is the completion of that. Okay. There is an alternate here that what we've got is an A, a B, and then we've got much, much further to go. That, I think, is a less likely scenario. But I do believe we're trying to put in this 2 here Question is, was this the 2 here, and now we're working on a 1-2, or is the 2 still out here to complete a more complex correction? That's what we're still trying to determine. I think one way or another we're going to be moving down, and let me just talk about why I think that is. Last week, I was talking about the importance of support and resistance levels, and let me move to a 2-hour time frame here so we can see this a little better. We've got upper overhead resistance here, we have upper overhead resistance here, and we have upper overhead resistance here, okay? As far as support goes, right, we are breaking support, or at least we did. We made an attempt to break support. If I zoom in just a little bit, we've got, and let me just go to a 1-hour time frame. We've got this support, right? We had a spring off of this guy, and we violated it right here. We had this bottom right here, which is really the more important support if you ask me, and we broke it right here. Now, we did spring up and out of it, but we did violate. We rated, as I like to call it, we rated those lows. Now, if we actually close below 89, I do believe that we're going to come down to at least 86. More than likely, we're going to be going lower, okay? So I know that this is part of a correction. All of this right here, this is part of a correction, right? If we're looking at this as an A, B, C, A, B, C, okay? And then we move down. I think we have a long ways to go, so let's just look at it from this perspective. So we start up here at the top, and we go down here to the bottom, and we do our internal retracement, our pullback, which is right here. Now, we hit the 618. I don't think we're done, just based on what I can see here. I really don't. I don't think we're done. I would say that likely we're going to be coming down here to 78. Maybe we're going to go a little bit further. I don't think we go lower than that just quite yet. If we do, that is a significant problem for Bitcoin. Because if we do come all the way down here to 72, more than likely we are going to be moving down here to about 56. Not going to get too bearish on that just quite yet. Daniel, hey, how are you doing? Good to see you on here today. I'm not going to get too bearish just quite yet. Honestly, I think dips are for buying down here at these price levels. I think a buy underneath 9,000 likely. If you can get close to this like 8,600 to 8,200, I think this is a great place for spot buys. That's just my opinion. You know, as right now we are sitting up here at about 91.15. I think we've got some time for this to play out. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just fix this real quick here, because I did make a small change to my preferred count. We've got this guy here, and we've got this 4 going to go in over here. This 3, I believe, was down here, which puts this 5 down here, and the 4 is still about right there. I'm just going to clean this up. I'm actually going to move to a 30-minute time frame. Not a real big fan of doing this, but it's going to be just a little more clear on where I'm getting these counts from. So we have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, and I believe this 3 actually belongs down here, and the 4 goes up there. Okay, into this 3, A, B, C, into the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down into the 5, which completes this wave 3. And then real easy, you can see it right here. We have an ABC into the A, ABC into the B, A, B, C into the C on a lower degree. Let's go ahead and put that down there like that. Then that completes the 4, the wave 4 of this move. And let's go ahead and finish this 5. This finishes quite nicely as well. Whereas right here we have an ending diagonal where we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's just take a look at this for a moment. I'm going to move this down here to a lower degree. One thing that I do like about this is the fact that the wave 4 was a nice wedge, right? So this was a nice wedge breakdown, which we would sort of expect to see. And that worked out quite nicely. Wave 4 does tend to be triangular, and we matched that pretty well. All right. So I think think that that finishes this move, which means now we are going to be doing an internal retracement on the entire move. So we start up here at the top, and we'll work our way down. Let's see where we're going to have a high probability of returning to. 9,300, very likely. 9,200. We already hit 9,200 or close to it. That was right here. In my opinion, this happened too fast. When we're taking a look at the amount of time it took to complete this move, I wouldn't expect the correction to be finished here. So yes, I do think that we go higher. I do think we do go a little bit higher here. We've got the 1 hour, which is curling up. 1 hour is moving up. So this is looking good for a little bit move to the upside, okay? So let's just go ahead and do this. Let's take a look. See here, Daniel just put in a bunch of stuff. Before going down, we might retest 95. 95 possible. I wouldn't want to see anything above 94. Therefore, I think we'll go lower, try to shake out, yes. Let's see here. We might retest the diagonal resistance line around 95. Yeah, I can see there being some resistance there. I would say the 618 is going to be more important for us right now, just based on what I'm seeing here. So if we're working on a correction on this entire move, we're looking for an A, a B, and then moving up for the C. Let's take a look at what our high probability targets are to the upside, because ultimately I do think that we move down lower, but let's see here. So we do this. If we work on the equality, we get up to 93.77. There's 94.63. Somewhere in this range is probably a good place to consider some leveraged short position. So in this range right here, let me just outline this. So we know that that is the 100 and the 123.6 extension on this first move up based on the start of the third move. We also have the 618 up here. If we get to the 618, I think that's really, really good. And I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. It may take a day or two. But being bullish for the next couple days, I think it's going to pay off, right? We still have funding favoring shorts, and Ethereum as well. They're favoring shorts. So being able to get into a decent position here, I think is going to go a long way. Possible it stops at 93, right? So when you're working on a wave 2, your higher probability is that it's going to hit the 50, not necessarily the 618. But if you get to the 618, then that's good as well. That just means you're not probably going to go as low as you expect. If it goes to the 50 and rejects on the 50, then you show a sign of weakness, and then more likely than not, we're going to be going a little bit lower than you would expect. In my opinion, determining strength or weakness in a market has almost everything to do with how far it does an internal retracement, okay? So we see here we have a nice sharp move up, A, B, A, B, C into this A. We have a nice A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C into the B, and now we're working on a series of corrections to get us up a little bit higher. Now, my strategy, I'm starting to short little bits, taking little bites along the way, and area of invalidation, although I'm not a fan of it, area of invalidation is going to be all the way up here at about 97.90. Okay, so if we get all the way up close to 9,800, my opinion is we're just going to keep on going. Okay, if we want to take a look at some horizontals to determine what kind of support and resistance, I always suggest looking at a 4-hour time frame and taking a look at candle bodies. Okay, so I know things are going to get a little more complex, but this guy right here, okay, let's just shoot this out in both directions and just take a real quick look at him. All right, so we've got that right there at the bottom. That was the 100% equality from the A versus the C. And just take a look at this. All across this entire, I could probably go further. This is a very, very important level, all the way back to when we started this back in April. Okay, when we started reaching the 9,300 to 10,500 range, this level was very, very important. And I'm just going to go ahead and just make this a little bit bigger because I believe that this is more important than a lot of people think. Okay, trading underneath this, I think it's a big deal. All right, because we had our initial resistance, we flew through it, and then we flew through it, then we had some clustering here, okay, support clustering here. All right, then we broke through it. We didn't quite get there. Then we flew through it, had support, 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 support. I mean, you guys get the idea. We had support above it. You know, we had dips below, but it was an area of support for a long, long time. And we do tend to, for some reason, just kind of fly through it on initial pushes. But, you know, what a lot of people also say is, you know, this time is different. And I'm going to be that guy right now. Apologies. I'm going to be that guy. This time is different. I think if we get up here, we're probably going to be met with some swift resistance. And more than likely, sellers are probably going to be kicking in up there. That's this time around, right? If we do move up there for that correction, this time around, I do think that we will get a swift rejection. We need to, if this count is going to be valid. So if this is a 1, 2, we're working on the C, remind you. So we're working on a 5-wave C. If we get that, we should be seeing some accelerated selling when we get in here to fly through this support zone and to just continue to work our way down. Work our way down to, again, we have this level here at 86. More important for me is going to be at 8,000, 8,100, 8,200, right? So just keeping an eye on all of these things. And again, I had mentioned this last week. Once we start to penetrate a support or resistance zone, that is going to give us more clarity on where the market is going to go. And I know this is BitMEX, so let's just take a look. I think I have these also outlined on Bitstamp. Okay, so let's just pull this over, take a look here. So we had this support level down here. Let me just get this zoomed in just a little bit here. So this support level, which is at about 8,900, we did penetrate that just a little bit. But for this, we did push back up. But the fact that we broke through it, well, one, it was to rate stops here. Now I think that there is a possibility this 9,800, you know, I don't think it's going to get hit, right? I don't think it's going to get hit or get close to it. But if we start closing above the 618, then I do think that we're going to get there. Nice thing about this is I do have a range outlined here, and where I'm projecting this top to be, again, this is like 9350 to 9400. You know, this is at the median of the range, right? So we were talking about the ranges quite a bit also last week. And the range that we're currently trading in, you know, is this really boring, you know, $600–700 range that keeps compressing, right? It keeps compressing more and more. So now our cap is 98, and our support is sitting down here, 88 to 89. Once we can start closing candles above or below, then we're going to get a clear direction. But for now, bias is down, bias is bearish, and we're trying to push up a little bit. So this is going to be, you know, kind of a relief rally, if you will. But I do think that we are going to move down for at least the next 2 to 3 months. This is going to be a slow grind. It's going to chop people in and out of positions. And it's best to just be patient with the market because your patience is going to pay off. When everybody gives up, right, when Bitcoin does decide that it wants to come all the way down to where we're targeting, right? So we're talking about this thing moving all the way back down to, you know, 7,000, maybe 7,400, getting all the way back down here. People are going to be calling crypto dead. And again, we'll evaluate if and when we get down here, but we're going to have a really, really great fourth quarter, in my opinion. I think that we're going to be seeing some really good moves. We're going to see some good profitability. But until then, we're going to see this slow grind down further and further and further. And I could be wrong. I could always be wrong. But I think that we're going to see some more downside before we see the significant move to the upside. But the next move down, in my opinion, is going to be for buying. I think that's all I've got for right now. Of course, if anybody has any questions, you can always ask away on the Discord. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And, of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, good evening. Stay happy, stay healthy, everyone.